Ugh, moving. It's got to be like universally dreaded, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right up there with like dentist appointments and doing your taxes.
Yeah.
But, someone's got to do it. Actually, someone chooses to like organize that chaos for a living.
Right.
Move managers. These are the folks who make sure like your grandma's antique china or, your vintage record collection arrives, in one
Well,
piece.
that is correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today we're going deep on this career, not just like the lifting and loading part, but like what skills you need, the tech they use,
Hmm.
and, like, is this even the right career move for you?
Right.
See what I did there?
Let's see what you did there.
Our guide for this whole thing is RoleCatcher, this awesome platform with like tons of career resources.
Yeah, they're great. What's really interesting to me is like how this whole field has changed. It's so not just about like muscle and trucks anymore.
Oh,
It's
total.
all about the client, giving them a good experience, personalized service.
Yeah.
Almost like you're their move concierge.
That's a great way to put it. And like the role catcher guide really emphasizes that whole client satisfaction thing. Makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're dealing with people's like most prized possessions on top of all the stress of relocating.
Absolutely.
Full responsibility.
Totally. It's like the difference between just like moving a grandfather clock
Mm-hmm.
versus like knowing that clock's been in the family for 100 years.
Right, right.
You handle it with a different kind of care.
Totally. And the guide makes this point that like no two moves are the same. You could be helping some like young professional moving into their very first apartment, or it could be a family who's, downsizing after like 30 years in the same house.
I bet they got stories.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
So each move needs like a totally different approach. You got to be adaptable.
Got to be on your toes.
Uh,
Think about it. You're juggling their budget, the moving company, stuff always goes wrong.
yeah.
And maybe even talking down a client who's freaking out because they can't find like their lucky spatula or something.
Okay, maybe the spatula thing is a little exaggerated, but
You never know. People get attached to the weirdest stuff.
that's true. That's true. But seriously, where do you even do all this work?
Well, RealCatcher actually mentions that it's a mix of like being in an office and then also going on site to, actually be at the places.
Yeah, the guide makes it sound kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
One day you're like up to your eyeballs in spreadsheets, figuring out logistics. The next you're like in someone's living room, directing where the sofa goes.
Exactly. And I feel like that kind of variety, some people would love that.
Yeah.
You'd have to be the kind of person who can like switch gears,
Yeah.
go from being really analytical to being really like hands-on, good with people under stress and all that.
Sounds like a move manager needs to be like part project manager, part therapist, part puzzle solver.
Don't forget tech support.
Uh-huh.
RoleCatcher's really big on how like technology is totally changing how this whole industry works.
Oh, for sure. Remember when like coordinating a move meant spending a week glued to your phone, hoping the cable guy would actually show up?
Oh, tell me about it. The days of phone tag and faxes.
Ugh, faxes. Don't remind me. And trying to unpack a box that just says like kitchen stuff on it.
The worst. But now, like RoleCatcher talks about these platforms, they're made just for move management.
Okay, so what, like real-time updates and stuff?
Yeah. Shared schedules, you can even like track where the moving truck is.
No way. That's so cool.
It's like having a control center for the whole move.
That would have been a lifesaver back in the day, especially with like all the little things that go wrong. But the tech stuff goes even further than that, right?
Way further. RoleCatcher mentions how they're using, get this, data analytics to like optimize the routes, even how they pack the truck for efficiency.
Wow.
Wild, right?
It's crazy how tech is like making this whole thing that used to be so stressful so much smoother.
Streamlining it.
Totally. Speaking of streamlining, let's talk careers. So say you're like, yep, I'm organized, I love helping people, and I can beat Google Maps at finding shortcuts. What's the actual path look like, to become a move manager?
Well, RoleCatcher, they lay out a pretty clear progression. You start with like entry level, get some experience under your belt.
And so it's not like you just show up and they hand you the keys to the moving van and are like, good luck.
Right, exactly. They break it down into 4 main like stages. So you start as a move coordinator. You're mostly supporting the experienced managers, learning how things work.
So like mastering the art of packing those super fragile things, or like knowing when a truck's about to get stuck.
All the tricks of the trade.
Love it.
Then you move up. You become a move planner, That's more strategic. You're the one coming up with the plans, the budgets, talking to the clients directly about what they need.
Like the architect of the whole move, making sure everything fits.
Exactly.
Okay, what's next?
Next up is the move manager role. Now you're leading a team. You've got multiple projects going at once. You're making sure everyone's happy.
So, like, you've gone from architect to, like, orchestra conductor.
That's a great way to put it, making sure everything's in sync.
I like it. Okay, but what's the peak? What do you aspire to?
The top of the mountain, according to RoleCatcher, is senior move manager. That's when you're thinking big picture, making deals with other companies, mentoring the new folks coming up.
You've seen it all at that point.
Yeah.
Probably got stories for days.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Every job has its ups and downs. What does RoleCatcher say about the good, the bad, and the maybe gonna pull my hair out parts of being a move manager?
They're actually pretty honest about the tough stuff. Like, long hours are just part of the deal, especially because people move on weekends, too.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then there's, well, let's just say some clients can be a little demanding.
Oh, I bet. Moving can bring out the intense side of people.
You can say that again.
Trust me, I know. But then on the flip side, you're helping people through a huge life change. That's got to be rewarding.
The guy talks about that a lot, that whole helping others part. It's more than just boxes, right? It's about making a stressful time a little less crazy. And plus, when a move goes perfectly, everything's on time, nothing's broken.
That's got to feel good. Like, I did that.
Total sense of accomplishment.
Like solving the ultimate real-life puzzle. Speaking of which, we've got to talk about the skills you actually need to be good at this. I'm gonna guess, like, a love of bubble wrap is a good start.
Bubble wrap's always good, but RoleCatcher actually has some, less obvious skills they say are key for being a good move manager.
Okay, so what are we talking, like Zen-level patience?
That helps, but the number one thing they list, time management.
Time management, really. It's moving, not like brain surgery, right?
Not usually, no.
Yeah.
But think about it. You've got, 5 clients, all with their own schedules, right?
Yeah.
Plus, the moving company's got their own thing. Someone always pops up. You got to keep it all straight.
So you're like the clock master.
Exactly. And almost tied for second place, they say reading comprehension and speaking.
Wait, reading comprehension for moving. I'm all for a good book, but I'm not seeing the connection.
It's all about the details.
Mhm.
Think about it. You've got contracts, instructions. You got to be on the same page with clients, movers.
Oh, right. One wrong word and the piano ends up at the wrong house.
Exactly. And then the speaking part. Being able to explain things clearly, calming people down, making sure everyone knows what's happening.
So it's not enough to just be organized. You got to be able to, project that organization onto everyone else.
Exactly. You need the analytical side, the people skills, and then just being able to roll with the punches when stuff inevitably goes wrong.
Sounds kind of exhausting, not gonna lie.
It can be, but also, really rewarding when you pull it off.
True. Well, there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into the world of move managers thanks to RoleCatcher's awesome resources. So the big question is this the job for you?
Right. Could you thrive in this world, helping people through one of life's biggest transitions?
If you're super organized, love a good challenge, and don't mind maybe talking someone off a ledge when they can't find their lucky spatula, maybe this is your calling. And when you're ready to take the next step, check out RoleCatcher. They've got everything you need to get started.
Absolutely. Until then, happy moving.
See you next